Am I the asshole here for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes? Okay, Reddit, I need some unbiased outside opinions because I truly feel like I'm going crazy dealing with this situation. I, 28 female, and my partner, 28 male, have 2 children together and have been married for 8 years. For those 8 years, I've either been on birth control when we were preventing pregnancy or tracking my cycle when we were trying to conceive. Adding this just to give the community the context that reproductive responsibility has always fallen on my shoulders. Recently, we discussed the possibility of being done with children since we have our 2, and the family really feels complete. My partner is in agreement that a 3rd child is off the table for him as well. So with that I thought, great, I can bring up sterilization for either him or I. The reason I wanted this is because I've had every form of birth control before, and none of them ever left me feeling 100% okay. So I wanted to be done with birth control completely since we both agreed that we are done. It's been about 3 months since our talk about more children, so I brought up either getting a vasectomy for him or me getting a salpingectomy, removing my fallopian tubes. What I thought would be a productive conversation completely blew up. He outright refused a vasectomy, and when I said I was okay with that and said I'd happily get a salpingectomy, he completely flipped his shit on me, screaming at me about how he forbids it from happening and he won't allow me to damage myself like that. I ended up just leaving the conversation and headed to get our kids from school, but on the way, I ended up calling my gynecologist to schedule a consultation for the salpingectomy after making sure that I won't need my spouse's approval. So Reddit, am I the asshole here if I go through with the sterilization against my partner's wishes? In the comments, he forbids you? Big nope to that. Yeah, and lol at him thinking that procedure will damage her more than childbearing, or the hormonal bullshit that we put into our bodies for decades. Not the asshole, your body, your choice, and no man can forbid you from controlling your reproductive destiny. Damage yourself? Does he not realize that birth control has serious side effects? I can't help but think that it's more than the procedures. Even though he said he's done with wanting more kids, his actions say otherwise. He is not being honest with you. If you love this man, talk to him again. Be firm. Find out what he is really not saying. He's your partner. He should be supporting you in your choice for the procedure. You should not be hiding it. I'd say he's the asshole. I think it is, genuinely scary that you can be married to someone for 8 years, have kids with them, think that you know them, and then, start pushing for, hey, this is, the best thing for the both of us. You don't want to do it, that's cool. I'm gonna go do it, though, because I don't want to keep going through all these side effects. And suddenly they switch up and reveal an absolute monster within themselves that never showed its head before because it never had any reason to. What a freak. What an absolute fucking freak to say something like that. I understand having a transparent conversation and, trying to bridge the gap with this guy, but I don't know. If this was one of my friends, I'd be like, honey, you need to break up with this guy. Hit him with the same conversation that Lily Bloom hits Ryle with at the end of It Ends With Us. Ask them, if our child was with someone they loved very much, and that person just said and did the exact same thing to you that you've just done to me, what would you say to that child? What would you tell them? Because I feel like his answer to that question will say a lot about the future of this relationship, and if it is at all salvageable. I know Reddit's always like, break up, divorce, this is bad, but this is genuinely scary. It's giving, I'm gonna baby trap you with a 3rd baby, even though I said that was never an option. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. And now, onto the update, a few hours later. Due to the support and advice that I found on here, I managed to get the confidence and level headspace needed to try to have another conversation with my partner. After getting our children to their school and daycare for the day, I went to our local coffee shop to pick us each up a cup. I figured that it can either be seen as a show of care or a peace offering. Once I got home, he was sitting at our island, doom-scrolling through TikTok. I think we've all been there. I decided standing across from him would be a bit of a better choice, so I gave us our respective cups and asked if I could get his attention for a conversation. Well, what I hoped would be productive turned unproductive quickly as he sighed with an eye roll and turned off his phone. I started by asking the big question of if he wanted any more children. I even suggested he doesn't think about what I said on the subject and just tell me his feelings about more children. With that, he answered a firm no and told me, as he said before, a third child is and will always be off the table. I then asked him if he had any fears or concerns about surgeries or medical procedures, and he said no to this question as well. So I asked if he understood the procedure and what it entailed, and he said yes he does, which is why he doesn't want me to get it done. In his words, I wouldn't be a woman if I got any part of my reproductive organs, what makes me a woman, removed, and he refuses to allow me down that path. I then followed up by asking about his getting a vasectomy, and he said that it's pretty much the same thing for men, and he won't let anyone take away his manhood. The final question that I managed to ask was, did he just expect me to be on birth control forever? And this man looked me in the face and said that it worked so well for me already, why change things up? Guys, as I stated in my previous post, I am miserable and in debilitating pain with birth control. At the end of this, I just grabbed my coffee and went to sit on our porch trying to wrap my head around the conversation while he sat in the house acting like nothing is wrong and that we're just having a normal day off together. In the comments, he genuinely does not care for you, your health, or your sanity. Chronic pain is not nothing. I'm sorry you're experiencing this, but please make sure you're safeguarding your own health before attempting to take his viewpoint. This is why people need to understand that gender identity isn't a scary topic laced with hatred. People just want to keep pushing the gender roles that our grandparents had. This man genuinely thinks that him getting a vasectomy makes him less of a man and that his wife shouldn't have a quality of life procedure. I could see a sliver of possibility of him having a point if both of you wanted kids, but you don't. Not the asshole, and definitely recommend getting the procedure anyways. You shouldn't be suffering on pills and hormones for him to be comfortable in your own skin. For him to be comfortable in your own skin is a crazy line. Steampunk Boy says, as a guy, I can't comprehend doing anything that would bring my partner pain or could lead to her dying quicker or first. It makes me so sad and miserable to know that so many other men cause this and are just okay with it, or not even aware of the pain and suffering they're causing. I'm not even married to my partner yet, but I love her and would do whatever is necessary to make sure that she can live the happiest and healthiest life possible. It makes me so infuriated to know that so many other men don't think this way or even consider it. I mean, shit, look at how many men treat their partner when they're on a period like a leper, rather than doing research to understand it and helping in whatever way they can to make their partners as comfortable as they can through it every month. Hell, if I could, I would gladly take on pain for her, if it meant that she didn't need to struggle or suffer through it. Because at the end of the day, her pain, in a way, is my pain. It's supposed to be a part of being a partner or married, isn't it? To share each other's struggles and pain, so that neither has to face it alone? So yes, fuck this guy, and may he live the rest of his life alone. And now, onto the update 2 days later. Hey Reddit, I just wanted to give a small update. I've been reading all of your comments on my last 2 posts, I swear. I appreciate all of the advice and kind words. Sometimes even the unkind words because it gives me more to think about. So to start, I've been at my sister's with the children all weekend. I told my husband that she was feeling lonely and wanted us to stay over. He believed it, as we usually try to do this once a month. I called off of work Monday so my sister and I can meet with a divorce lawyer that handled her divorce. I'm unsure if divorce will be the path I go down, but I want to get my ducks in a row before laying it all down for my husband. Also, I would like to answer some questions that I saw a lot of in my last post. Yes, I still plan to go through with sterilization. I absolutely don't want any more children, even if this ends in divorce. I plan to tell him that it's getting done no matter what he says or believes. There will definitely be no sex with him anymore. I feel like I lost all attraction and respect for him. The children don't know what's going on, they just think that it's a fun time at Auntie's house. Condoms are a no. I exist because of a broken condom. I currently have an IUD, and while yes, it has been the best birth control that I've been on, I still cannot function properly for a week out of the month due to pain, bleeding, and depressive episodes. No, he hasn't done anything like this before, which is what caught me so off guard with everything. Disagreements in our relationship have, up until now, been able to be discussed and compromised on. We grew up in a deep Catholic community but fell away from the church years ago. In the comments, Miriam Light says, "Sounds like you're handling this like a total boss, getting your ducks in a row, making informed choices, and not letting anyone guilt trip you into something you don't want. Love to see it. The no sex part and the whole losing attraction and respect? Yeah, that's a pretty solid sign this relationship is on life support. Getting a lawyer's perspective is definitely the move, even if you're not sure about the divorce yet." And the condom comment? Valid. Your reasoning is airtight. Whatever happens next, just know that you're doing what's best for you, and that's what matters most. OP says, "Thank you for that. I feel like it's a total shit show on my end, but I'm trying to keep the blow up to a minimum. I know there's a chance that shit will hit the fan with him due to how things have been going currently, but I don't want drama come from my end." Asterisk says, quotes, "I plan to tell him that it's getting done no matter what he says or believes." Stop right there. He will clean out your bank accounts. Get this done quietly and quickly. Do not, under any circumstances, warn this man. Do not dismiss the seriousness of this moment. This is how you get dead. OP says, "Thankfully our finances for the most part are separated. The only joint bank account we have is for bills and child expenses." Brain Freeze asks, "Serious question. If you're abstaining from sex, why get the procedure? If you're abstaining, have you fallen out of love? Is that the reason for the lawyer?" And OP says, "I want the procedure for myself, no matter my relationship status. I want to be done with birth control without a chance of children, no matter where the future takes me. As well as the fact that this procedure reduces the risk of cervical cancer significantly, which is common in my family, so that's a plus. I haven't fallen out of love with him per se, but I truly hold no respect for him right now with how he's treated me over this. I'm unsure if we will divorce, but I feel like it might be for the best, especially if to him this will damage me." Born Ad says, "So without fallopian tubes, she suddenly isn't a woman anymore? I wouldn't stay with someone like that, especially when he has such disregard for her pain. Stupid is the opposite of sexy, and this is worse than stupid. Sounds like he's into some heavily women need to be women rhetoric. Probably following some talking dildo and just eating the crap that's being spewed right up. I had to have a hysterectomy for medical reasons in my early 20s, and seeing this rhetoric online makes me so sad. It's something that I find absolutely ridiculous and can overlook now because I'm very confident that it's wrong and that only trash people have that view. But at the time when I read stuff like this, it made me feel awful. The idea that a certain part of our body is what makes us a woman is so damaging. I really feel for OP, but at least this scenario has shown the horrific and controlling misogyny in her relationship. This surgery bad. Permanently damaging birth control, hormones, and physical damage for an IUD potentially? Perfectly acceptable. She'll still have her parts, so why should I care? OP, please tell us you're divorcing this guy. Please, it's not worth it. As I said before, the juice is not worth the squeeze. If you were to not get this procedure and you were to get cervical cancer as a result of that, would he not cheat on you? Is that not something that's likely to happen? He really does give off the vibe that if there is ever anything wrong with you, he's out. He does not care about you. Also, there's the commenter that asked, why abstain from sex? Were you born yesterday? What's going on with you, brother? Yeah, let's just put ourselves in harm's way in an extremely chaotic time with our crazy psychotic partner right now. Okay, man. Glad that you're out of there, OP. Please come back with another update saying that you did divorce him. Please, please, please. Our next post is by user NoSociety6848, and it's titled, Am I the asshole for threatening to sue my cousin's friend in front of people who were strangers to me? I, 29 female, was at my grandmother's house last Friday when a friend, 27 female, of my cousin, 27 male, reversed into my car. I caught part of it on my phone camera, which showed her pulling away after hitting my car. I took photos of the damage and then messaged the cousin's friend to discuss how she was going to pay for the repair. She decided to add me to a group WhatsApp call instead of replying privately. In the group call, I called her out using her name, the color, make, model of her car, and her license plate, and I mentioned I had video proof. She asked what I expected from her, and I gave her two options: meet up the next day, on Saturday, and exchange insurance, or pay $2,500 in cash. She expressed concern over using insurance due to rate hikes and said she didn't have the cash. I then offered to let her put a credit card on the file at the shop, and I said I would have them cap the charges on her card at $2,500. She didn't like that either. My final offer was to tell her that she had till Thursday, today, at 6 p.m. to notify me of what she wanted to do. If I hadn't heard from her by that point, I would file a police report and pursue a small claims suit. She tried to counter by saying that the damage was from a previous incident, the work order where I had gotten the $2,500 number from, but I reminded her that I had proof from the shop that was completed 3 years ago and time-stamped photos from earlier in the day, last Friday, of both cars undamaged. My cousin is upset about how I handled the situation, saying that I embarrassed his friend by confronting her in front of her friends, strangers to me, and that I should have offered a payment plan. Anyway, am I the asshole for threatening to sue her in front of people who were strangers to me? Mini update, 9 hours later, 6 p.m. came and went without a word, but at this point, I'm not surprised. Filed a police report, and they laughed at all the evidence that I had. Insurance will be notified tomorrow. In the comments, sucks that insurance goes up when it's used. This isn't ideal, but it's exactly why we have to carry insurance. Not your problem if she can't, won't, or isn't going to do that right thing. You've given her plenty of choices and chances. And OP says, yeah, I felt bad for her. Not anymore though, because I do get someone not wanting their rates to go up, and that's why I offered to let her pay cash or put her credit card on file with the shop, but she's being dodgy, and I've had enough. Not the arsehole. She created the entire situation, including hit and run, and the group call, not you. You gave her multiple reasonable options to deal with her poor driving skills and her poor decision-making. I would have called the cops as soon as she drove off. I would never have offered to cap it at what you paid for a similar repair years ago, not with inflation and with all the new tariffs. OP says, the group call was weird. I felt bad for calling her out, at the time, but thought that maybe the peer pressure would make her take responsibility. I guess not. Someone else says, honestly, you're part of the problem by letting her get her way. She committed a hit and run. I'd say all bets are off, file a police report, let her lose her insurance. Instead of having to pay a slightly higher premium, she'll pay through the nose once she has the hit and run on her record. And OP says, I was trying to be understanding by giving her a grace period. I've accidentally sideswiped someone in a parking lot and left a note on their car with my contact info. They were gracious enough to let me go to the shop and pay outside of insurance, which is actually where I got the idea from. I was trying to pay it forward, but it was just thrown back in my face. Info. How did you have pictures of her car before the damage? OP says, my grandma has a greenhouse, and I was taking pictures of her plants earlier in the day. It has glass walls, and the plants are in focus, not the cars. But you can see both undamaged cars in a couple of shots. Not perfectly, but enough. And post-mini update, someone asks, why did the police laugh? OP says, because I had the video of her damaged car driving away where you can hear me yelling for her to come back. She paused and thought about it before speeding away, and the photos of both undamaged cars from earlier in the day. I'm surprised that OP is taking all of this so gracefully and not just going absolutely scorched earth, especially when she thinks about it and drives away. What is going on there? Call the police. Who cares about what your cousin has to say? Actions have consequences. Beep beep, hello police, I'd like to report a hit and run. Here is an easy arrest for you to make. Come here right now, I have all the evidence you need. Can people please just start doing the more entertaining and reckless things and more dramatic things like this instead of just letting dickheads get away with their antics? Please, OP, I'm begging you, please go back in time and do something much funnier. And now, onto the update, 2 weeks later. Starting with the mini update that I added to the bottom of my last post. She did not respond by 6 p.m. that night, so I went and filed a police report. With all the evidence that I had, her full information, video of a right after the accident, and pictures of our undamaged cars earlier in the day, the police were laughing as they helped me fill out all the right forms. They also laughed about the fact that she said she would countersue me because the damage was from 3 years prior. So many people told me to save the screenshots of messages between us, but the only messages were the ones that I sent asking her to meet up the next day. Everything she said was verbal in the group WhatsApp call. I'm still not over how weird that was, but I no longer feel guilty for calling her out on it. Unfortunately, no, I did not think to audio record the conversation. Would that have even been legal? I don't know. I went to my shop to get an estimate, close to $3,750, and user NoEar9899 had a good idea to get quotes from multiple shops. One I went to gave me an estimate closer to $4,000, another shop also said $3,750. I'll probably go with my original shop regardless, because they've always done good repairs in the past, and I trust their work. At the recommendation of many people, I called my insurance company the next day. Of course, I sent all of the information and pictures I had over to them. I decided to hold off on the small claims case until insurance had tried on their end. Well, they called me earlier this week to say that she does have insurance, but not enough coverage to cover the damages. I didn't even know that that was possible. Apparently it's called being an underinsured driver. So because of that, I decided to go to small claims route too. Ultimately, she will only have to face the same charges once, but my case may go faster than the one insurance filed. Here's the stupid and frustrating thing. I might lose my no accident discount, even though it wasn't my fault and I have insurance. Ugh, insurance gives me a migraine. Mini plot twist though, my cousin was 100% trying to get in this girl's pants. Apparently they've been on a few dates and really liked each other. His idea of the next step was a super low-stakes meet the cousins kind of deal before being all official, meeting the parents, etc. We met at my grandma's earlier this week, and I called him out on his behavior towards me. He apologized and said that his friends were giving him grief for still liking this girl who has been revealed to be dishonest and untrustworthy. Her rude behavior towards me came out of nowhere, according to him. I don't know if this is true, but he made it sound like the people in the group chat were upset that she was willing to leave the scene of an accident. So thank you, lovely people, for your advice. I hope everything is going well in your lives. Everything seems to mostly be going in the right direction for me, even though it will take time to resolve. In the comments, in response to someone questioning why she waited and didn't call the cops on her for fleeing the scene, OP says, "Being kind is exactly what I was trying to do. I've been in a place where even the original $2,500 that I quoted her, much less than the actual $3,750 that it's going to cost, would have been too much for me too. I would have appreciated someone trusting me enough to offer a payment plan or any of the other options that I extended. I am very much thankful to have the means to repair my car without her help, but seeing as she's the one who damaged it, she should be the one to pay for repairs. I willingly chose to be kind and gave her an opportunity to choose the right thing. She knew I had enough information to go after her through the proper channels. She just didn't think that I would follow through because I was kind enough to begin with. I do not see giving her a grace period as a mistake. You're welcome to disagree with that decision." Overall Search says, "Why is it more embarrassing to ask for repairs than it is to publicly hit someone else's car on camera? Oh wait, because it's easier to be an asshole than reasonable, I guess." How does insurance that doesn't cover $3,750 even exist? It seems kind of worthless considering how expensive cars and repairs have gotten. In my state, the minimum amount of property damage is $25,000, with separate minimums for bodily injury. I don't know all of the state minimums off the top of my head, but the lowest I know of, I deal with most states but not all, is $5,000, which is incredibly low. Please, don't only have $5,000 in property damage coverage, although New Hampshire doesn't require coverage at all, which is even more insane. But it can't be NH, because if you do have insurance, the lowest limit is above $5,000, and OP said the driver was underinsured, not uninsured. I think grace periods are a great idea in situations when it's possible. It gives the offender a chance to do the right thing, or time to find the right metaphorical rope to hang themselves with. Especially if they foolishly mistake kindness for weakness, which the little idiot is now learning at her own expense. Good for OP for trying to be gracious, but knowing where to draw the line. I respect those, like OP, that will give grace periods, because it is possible for them to do the right thing, yes. But me personally, I have run out of patience for dickheads and their dickheaded activities, and I will not be giving them grace. They will not find grace on this street. I went to Graceville, and no one knew me. As I said, I don't think she deserved a chance. She deserved to have the police called on her right then and there, and I will die on that hill. Everyone else is welcome to give them grace periods. That's all well and good. But I have not got the patience for that. I don't have the time. I'm not playing games. I have my own life to live. Thank you and good night. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!